and I know you're probably hesitant to do this.
Oh boy.
Will you go over some of those? You had a monstrous month. Will you go over how where you caught some of your shorts?
Yeah, I
It's like on the
mean the CRV one, the BNB one were like catalyst entries, right? Like I wish I would have seen this. God, what news did I just post? I wish I would have seen the Gala news today. So
Oh man, I saw that last night.
they
Did
had
it
a
crash to zero?
they had a $130 million token theft. And
Oh,
then
they got a lawsuit too. They're suing each other.
yeah, and then Maker is going over to Solana, and Vitalik dumped. I haven't looked at what the price is today, but it's, like I'm telling you, like catalyst trading is the most is the best kind of trading. Like trading based off of news, and usually I'm looking for shorts, not necessarily pumps, right? Like when all the FUD started happening with BNB, I got into a short, got a good entry, and I held that and the CRV short when they got exploited for a long time. So that was most of my month, and also I was shorting Matic and Bitcoin as well. So it was by far, without a question, far and wide the best month I've ever had. Specifically for those three tokens. So the CRV got hacked, had an exploit. BNB FUD, and then Matic was just looking like it was going to dump. But it was Catalyst. There was nothing else. It was just BNB was just being attacked left and right. Countries were cutting them off. US investigating them. And it just kept on going down and down and down.
I looked on that sentiment last night, and they had NMR was trending. It's up 10%. And then last night around like 9 o'clock, I heard about the Gala lawsuit, and that's down.
My problem is sometimes I don't think about entering into a short or a long based off the news. Like I'll post it, and then I'll think about it like an hour later, and I'm like, oh shit, I should have, taken a position. Like I'll post the news article, and it doesn't just register in my head to either go short or long on it. I have that problem. With BNB it did, and with CRV it did, but I missed the Gala. And sometimes you got to get on those real quick, right? Because sometimes they're just going to dump, maybe 10% real quickly, and then it's already at the bottom when you enter. You got to kind of get on those pretty quick. Not with the CRV and BNB one, though. But that was it. I wish there was some, magic TA that I did or something. It wasn't. It was just a catalyst entry. But that's a trading strategy. Catalyst trading is a trading strategy.
I'm kind of keeping my eye on UNFI as a short. It looks like it took like a 20% gain last night. And actually, I had a short yesterday afternoon. So I got stopped out, but I'm still looking at it as a short. And on my trading view, it's looking like it's starting to go the other way. It's starting to actually trend back the other way right now.
Yep, it does. Yeah, dude, this coin has been just on a tear. I think it's up 200% since the bottom.
But the thing is
Yeah,
like
200.
I look at these DeFi, not DeFi, but these DAO finance projects, and I don't see what's so unique about this one. Every one of them, when you go look at their white paper, they do some bullshit that nobody else does. But they actually, I don't really see what's so great about it. And I'd like to do a little bit of investigation and study on whatever I'm going to trade. But this one, I'm kind of like, it seems like it's hyped up. I'm not really sure what the big thing is with this one.
Yeah,
unless somebody here knows.
At the end of the day, so when I'm trading price action, it doesn't matter what it is for me. with certain exceptions, right? Like if I don't want to trade $1 million market cap coin, but you know, if it's 30, 40, $50 million market cap coin, I don't care what it is. If it's has the momentum behind it, I'm gonna trade it. Like Caspa, like when I got in on Caspa, it was like a 25 or a $30 million market cap or something like that. And I don't like DAOs. I think DAOs are, I don't know. I think the idea of a DAO is great. I think if you're chasing high yield, you're probably going to get burnt in a long time. If something is given away, like the one that I can think off the top of my head is Daruma DAO from Nervos Network. Like that thing had like 1,000,000% APR for the longest, not for the longest time, but for a few weeks when it first launched. And then the token like dumped to zero. So while you were making a bunch of money in the first couple of weeks, you ended up losing money because their token, which was what the yield was, you know, given back as, you know, went to zero essentially, and then they ended up closing it down. Now, you know, there's different types of DAOs, and I try to stay away from the game theory DAOs, or not the game theory, the is that what it is? The game theory DAOs, where it's like the 333. Maybe Netta knows this, where it's like their whole like idea about making money behind it is that everyone holds it, right? No one's gonna do that.
Yeah, because you have to not only have the majority of the stake to vote, but you also have to hold the quadratic majority or something like that. I have really no idea how that one works, but the idea is that you never sell. Otherwise, you are going to lose the voting power or something like that.
And just from
to me, it's bullshit. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, just from like a human psyche standpoint, like it just doesn't work. And that's what Daruma was. No, there's some DAOs out there. Like I like the idea, the government's idea behind it, but at the same time, it's like one whale. And we saw that with, was it Arbitrum? There was one of them where like one whale changed something and then exploited the system because he had the most voting power, and it was a big one. I don't know if it was on Arbitrum or what. I can't remember.
Well, I don't remember. I remember the news, but if you go looking inside the implementation of almost every DAO, there is one trick that everyone pulls. That is, you publish the contract on GitHub, but when you actually interface with the DAO on the chain, you send requests through a proxy contract, which has a pointer to the actual contract that does the execution. And there is one specific address that is entitled to change the pointer to execution contract. So basically, today you have a DAO with a set of rules. Tomorrow, one single person is entitled to change all of that on a whim. So I don't know how to put this other than looks sketchy, at least sketchy as an implementation.
Yeah,
it looks the standard. There is also something similar in the token USD token from PayPal that we looked into a couple of weeks ago. There was the ability to ban an account and empty it from just the administrator address, which is kind of not what you want to see in a public asset.
It's the exact opposite of what you want to see.
Actually, yeah.
And if that's in there, you know they're going to use it. I always go back to like the Canadian truckers thing that happened at the beginning of COVID, where they took over, I don't know if it was Vancouver or what, and then Trudeau and all them.
That was bad.
Yeah, like
Very
literally
bad,
blocked
yeah.
all their bank accounts. And
so basically, we are replicating the same stuff on the DeFi network, which is meant to be the total opposite. But, you know. maybe otherwise they don't get the funding. The VCs are not going to show up with money, so they put all of these backstops and future release of the policy facilities inside the code. Also, if you do remember at the beginning of the Ethereum drama, it was like 2016. There was the first DAO. It was literally called the DAO, and that one received it was the first conceptual one, received a lot of funding, a lot of investment, a lot of Ethereum locked in, and that one failed miserably because of programming bug. And that was a monumental damage to the credibility of DeFi. And from that point on, everyone made sure to have some sort of updatable contract that you can change later on, because maybe there is a bug that shows up today and you can say, I will go with another release, update the contract on the chain afterwards. This also works both ways, because you can update the contract to do the things that today you deny that you will be doing in the future. For example, I don't know, banning accounts, restraining people from using the tokens. Comes to mind.
I think it's so new that I mean, we all make fun of Gary Gensler, but he's right. It's the Wild West, and that is the regard that he's referring to. These guys come up with these projects, and they're all over the place, and these DAOs are a good example. And like you said about Daruma, that was crazy. And I mean, I was involved in that one, and Donkey was involved with it. But I mean, now it's sitting out there. Yokai Swap. Daruma is actually shut down. Here's the crazy thing with Daruma: they actually paid out. If you had money in there, they actually paid out a percentage to everybody. They didn't just they closed it down, but they actually had like a payout that they gave you, which was crazy. But yeah, that's a good example of just a project that had a lot of hype and took off and had a lot of people involved, and then it just tanked, and now Yokai Swap is just sitting out there, and then they've launched all kinds of projects off of Yokai Swap. But again, to the point there, these projects are just all over the place, and it's still so new. You don't know which ones are going to be around 5 years from now, let alone a year from now.
Yeah, with the DAO stuff and the staking stuff, just be cautious. Like, I have my screen right now. I'm on DeFi Llama and just sorting by yields. Like, they look good, right? Like 50,000%, 8,000%, 3,000%. But you're gonna, they're all weird tokens that you're probably gonna get stabbed with. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Terra Luna looked good, very good for yields.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good example.
That was actually the problem.
And to go back, not to change subjects real quick, to what Brian was saying. So if we see some news out there that's like a catalyst type news for a short or a long position, we should like actively call that out for each other, like to not necessarily to take that position, but to look into the possibility of taking a position, because I overlook it sometimes.
Last night I looked on Sentiment and I seen Numari was going crazy. I looked on Pointalize, and open interest was higher than I'd ever seen it, 6,000% up. And right now it looks like I kind of just drew a little line and said, all right, I'm going to take a look at this. And it's spiked up again, but I have no idea what or why.
Like hack and exploit news is like the #1 short signal. Like, I don't know, let's see what Gala's doing right now. Yeah, I mean, it's down considerably. It's down about 12% since the news broke. It's a nice short right there. I'm not entering into a short now. You know, might have missed it, might not have missed it, who knows, but did you figure out the object tree, Brian?
I was messing with a little bit, but I was kind of just doubling back, watching the video you did, and just clicking around on so much stuff. I click up the object tree, and it's just like, it's just all my indicators. I just didn't really. You're saying you stack, you can stack stuff on top of each other?
Can you see my screen?
Let me get back there. Okay.
So if I'm like drawing some trends or whatever on the 4-hour chart, I'm just whatever throwing a couple on there, and I draw, you know, a couple squiggles, whatever, and then I go to the object tree. You can hit this folder here, and you can create a folder, and then you can drag the drawings into it, and then you can just hide them like that. So this is helpful because if you're drawing on a 4-hour chart and you go to a daily chart, you know, it could look weird, and vice versa, right? If you're drawing on a 7-minute chart and you pull it to the daily chart, it's going to look weird. So you can like have a 4-hour drawing chart, you know, whatever, but you can kind of organize yourself in that way.
Oh.
So you can just hide them, unhide them. You can do major levels, right? Like you can map out, you can have one that's just for like the order book, one for liquidations, just flip them on, flip them off, so you know where they are.
I want to have the ultimate trick. If you double click on the folder that you created, a dialog shows up, and there is the visibility tab, and you can check and select on which time frame you want this to appear.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's cool.
I mean, they cool. Put so much effort in trading. There is a lot of stuff to learn. It's very, very minimal at times, but you know, it's still a lot of stuff.
What else we got? Any other questions floating around out there?
I got one.
Yeah.
So, Aere, you are mentally preparing to see BTC in the lower 20s, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking, look, when we're bearish, I'm bearish. When we're bullish, I'm bullish. You know, like here, this little upswing here, I was bullish. This little downswing, I'm bearish. So when we're down, I'm just thinking next logical levels to go to. And I mean, 23, 24K would be the breakdown of the daily, 3-day, 4-day flag that we're in right now. If you take like the crazy detour we took with the, I can't even think of what the news was, the grayscale news. But really, that $20,000 level looks like it could be the bottom to build back into the halving. And I think a lot of people are putting a lot of emphasis on the halving right now and the ETFs. You know, the SEC could find ways to drag that shit on for a long time if they wanted to. Fight them in court, whatever. That's not guaranteed. It's not like 100% we're going to get the Bitcoin ETFs. It's probable. We probably are. And a lot of people are putting a lot of weight into the halving too. But we also have like the economy looming. There's a lot looming right now. Life is expensive. There's zero new money coming into crypto. No, we don't necessarily need crypto. I mean, retail, right? We don't need retail to pump us. If these ETFs get approved, we're going to pump without a question.
Definitely.
But if they get dragged on, if they continue to get dragged on, you know, I could see us come down to 20K. And if, God forbid, something happens with the economy, it could go lower. But I don't like to really think too much farther ahead than where we're at.
I was going to share with you guys that I have a Guardian node and an Edge node. They're Theta machines, and I've had those running for a couple years. Theta just did an integration or a partnership with this crypto called Levita, and it's some sort of AI with medical. And the reason I'm sharing this is, you know, Theta's got a pretty good foundation and framework, and now they've got this partnership with this Levita. So be on the lookout, because it does have that AI component with medical, which I think are two things that, when the blockchain starts to, you know, become more adopted and a bigger part of everything that we're doing in the crypto space, which it looks like it will, that could be a pretty good play in the long term. And then, just like Aere said, I mean, it was like probably almost a year ago that when I was on CoinEx, and the reason I used CoinEx is my miners would mine, and then I would send the crypto to CoinEx until I got kicked off. But I was one of the market makers on there, and I had USDT pairs with Caspa a year ago. If they wouldn't have kicked me off there and I would have left them in there, I had about $2,000 worth of pairs, which, you know, would be pretty big right now with the growth. So just as a, you know, sort of like something to look out for. Not, you know, none of us know if it's going to work or not, but just, you know, be on the lookout for that Levita, and then everything to do with Theta. They've actually got a pretty good system set up.
And I can't pull it up right now, but Bookmap too, I mean, between 23 and 24,000 is thick. I mean, 25,000 is obviously the level of support we need to hold. If we don't, then it's 24 and 23.
So the bet, I guess, is that we hope that 20K is going to hold if we get there. Otherwise, the sentiment of the chart is going to be a little too bearish to retest the lows. Maybe they don't hold. But anyway, on the traditional market, I don't see the market to go down anytime soon. So that could also provide a nice push to the upside. At least for now. I mean, we saw what happened this week. And every time they try to short, money comes in.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the Nasdaq's making another run for it too, for that.
It's kind of a make or break moment, this one, but also there is a lot of support levels below us, so I'm not particularly worried. The economy is going to provide some drops in the future, but not anytime soon. So maybe we have a few months of leeway also for Bitcoin. But I agree that lately the correlation between Bitcoin and the Nasdaq is not so strong.
Do you see new money coming into Nasdaq from retail right now, like lately?
Not from retail. This is my point. It's not from retail. It's mainly from derivatives and very short dated contract, which is not something that the retail population uses. There is no real investment, but the money still comes in to push the valuation up. It looks to me a lot like manipulation that has been going on for a while now. I tried to write something about this in the last overnight brief, but the end result is that the market keeps going up, and at some point, retail participation is going to come in. I mean, if we approach the new highs, and we make an high high, I think the population is going to accept that as the new bull market. You had to.
Yeah, if you remember the January pump in Bitcoin, it started off with spot orders, small spot orders. It was retail literally started that push in January, and then they fell off. They fell off a cliff, and they've been falling off a cliff since.
The last drop provided with that one we broke below the trend line, also below the 200 MA, which is not good. Yeah, you're right. So the sentiment is not so hot on the crypto space. And you also said that there is no money coming in, which is another leading indicator.
Yeah, look at the spot volume. I don't know if you can see it on my chart here, but this is weekly spot volume. So the first like, I don't know, 8 weeks for January and February was crazy. And then we know what happened prior to that. This was just selling off, like FTX stuff. But it's just fallen off of a cliff since. You know, started in March. Just dead. Just nothing going on.
Which ticker are you seeing this
is
one from?
Bitcoin weekly, just volume.
Yeah, but I mean, in Bitstamp, Coinbase, there are a lot of... because I cannot see the ticker.
This is actually Binance futures, but then it says spot volume, so it's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you have to agree that the prominent candles in volume are the green ones from January.
The what? I'm sorry?
The most the candles with the most volume are the green ones so far.
Yeah.
So that's nice to see. But, yeah, we will see in the next month, I guess, what happens. Also, everyone is going to tell me, keeps repeating that we are going to sell in September, but you know, when everyone forecasts the same thing, and I mean the vast majority, usually the opposite happens. So we will see. It's going to be interesting anyway.
If you look at last October was supposed to be Pump October, and then FTX happened. Well, I guess that was November.
Yeah, that happened.
And I still remember all the influencers saying 100K by year end. I guess no one could have anticipated. No one could have anticipated FTX. I mean, who knows what would have happened.
Well, the same forecast of the 100K came out this week, and at the end of August, because we had a nice little pump that fizzled out, and everyone in the crypto space was 100K by the end of the year. So exactly 2 days later, we were back at 26. I guess that didn't work out.
Nope, it's just people throwing their stables, whales throwing their stables, you know, from, you know, USDT or whatever into Bitcoin, riding that news pump and then selling it at the top when you hit resistance. I'll be, like I was saying, I'll be more impressed when we can pump not off of news. Our last two pumps have been news-based with the XRP lawsuit and this one, and both have been retraced within 24, 48 hours.
Oh, the Palau ID denied Bybit. Ooh. Just got denied. Verifying on Bybit. Verify again.
And Bybit's KYC now, right? You can't just use a VPN.
I am on a VPN and I'm trying to verify right now with this I'm trying to KYC right now with this ID thing that I got out of that Palau thing. I talked to them in customer service and they said Bybit's good to go. The information on your document cannot be read. Make sure it's visible and clear. I can read that.
It's probably, I would assume, an automated system.
The writing is so small on this ID. It's just like tiny. Okay, let's
so
try
that's sorry, that one is supposed to provide you with the legitimacy to register in exchanges that deny U.S. citizens, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have many we can use anymore.
Level 1 in progress, 20,000 a day. Incoming fiat limit, 100,000. Oh, $1 million a month USDT withdrawal. All you need is an ID and a selfie. I'll try it again. Maybe the picture was a little bit fuzzy.
But
denied. Wow, interesting.
But then when you try to register in the FTX admission, there is in the country checkbox, there was the, every single country in the world, and then there was crypto as a country. I mean, it was amazing.
Let's try Binance. Doubt it. So what's September looking like? More.
I'll tell you in October.
Yeah.
No, I really, from my point of view is that the upward movement is just too much momentum in conventional market. It doesn't work. It doesn't yield and will not go down anytime soon. By looking at the chart, of course, tomorrow this can change, but I don't know. This is kind of a make or break moment, because if you look at the last few sessions, there is a lot going on, because yields really stage a rally in the last few days, which is not good for equities and not good for crypto. Also, the dollar, the DXY, stage a rally and is now in the premium side of the range, which is not good for crypto and equities also. But the equities, actually, they didn't go down at all. The VIX index is still declining, which is in regular market condition. This is all indicative that the index are going to skyrocket. It could also be a leading indicator for the opposite to happen, because when VIX is so much suppressed, it can bounce back to the upside, and this is going to be bad. But so far, there is no indication of that happening.
Yeah, the macro economy is scaring me too. Like the macro economy is super, super scary right now. And it's just, I honestly don't know how people are living right now. Everything is so expensive. People, like, savings now are at like an all-time recent low. Credit card debt's at an all-time recent high. You know, insurance prices are going up. You can't even insure Kias or Hyundais anymore in the United States. Like, no insurance company's insuring them. Home insurance premiums have gone up. And when I say up, like $100 a month. That's a lot. That's a lot of money for people. Car insurance premiums are up. People have blown through their savings.
Kind of the same thing in the other side of the pond, actually. Maybe a little worse, because we have enjoyed a higher level of inflation, and the ECB here is way behind the Fed. I mean, 1 year behind. So there's a lot of hiking to do. But anyway, the market took this in a very happy life mode, and we are still enjoying all-time highs. I don't know why, but I have to accept this. I mean, guys.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, Bitcoin's still up like 50-60% on the year. Like I was saying earlier, we don't need retail. We don't need retail to pump.
Exactly.
Be nice though.
I still don't know how money market funds are entitled to allocate so much money inside the market, because the forecast for average earnings by equities for the next 10 years is predicted to be below 4% a year, which is very, very low. Obviously, because the market are overstretched to the insane level they are now. And the same thing you can gain with risk-free, but just by purchasing US bonds. I mean, the 10 years now pays more than 4% a year. The 2-year pays almost 5%. It's insane. There is no point in buying the market now.
At this point, I feel like...
But they do it.
I feel like it's who's going to capitulate first, right? Is it the markets or the Fed?
Yeah.
Who's caving first? Is the Fed going to start cutting rates?
Yes.
Or is the market going to tank?
It can be read this way too, yes. It's not. I don't think this is going to end well in the long term, of course, but we have to trade what is in front of us. So, guys, I still bullish. I try to short every single time, as I've shown, but with no commitment at all. And I don't have any other experience with a market like this. I talk to people which are more seasoned than me, and the general opinion is that this is a phase that the market has to digest and process with time. This is going to pass, and everything is going to normalize in the future. But it's very for me, this market is very confusing.
Confusing for me too, because it depends on who I talk to. So if I talk to wealthy people who have money, who actively invest in stocks and in crypto, versus talking to regular old people, it's a completely different conversation. Regular old people are scared. People who are wealthy, well off, have a bunch of money in the bank, have 401ks and stock portfolios, They don't seem to be too worried. And it's hard to gauge it because you listen to like Jamie Dimon, and I swear to God, it's like 1 week he's talking about a recession, and the next week he's talking about there's not going to be a recession. It's like he's flip-flopping. And now you're saying they're pricing in cuts into rate cuts?
At this moment, the yields are a little higher now, so it's half and half, I'd say. But 2 days ago, the price of the 10-year was forecasting cuts. Anyway, I think that if in September there is no cut, maybe there is a confirmation of a pause, the market can produce another leg up. But if there is a forecast, another hike, even a minor one, this is not going to sit well for the market. There is going to be some kind of pullback. But anyway, there is a lot of levels to be broken in the downside, so many levels that I don't see the market going down in a dramatic way.
That's kind of how I feel with Bitcoin. Like, if we look at the 2020 halving and this halving, they're running at the same pace. So towards the end of the year, which we're starting to get towards now, we tested in 2020, we tested the 2019 low. Our scenario for that would be, you know, a $15,473 Bitcoin. I don't see that without some kind of black swan event, recession. That's why I'm saying like 20,000 I could see, you know, if the 25 and 23 doesn't hold. But I feel like it's the same with the stock market. So I don't think we're going to capitulate too much unless there's something going on, some kind of black swan event with the economy.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to go pump 200 gallons of water out of my fish tanks and 200 gallons back into it.
No, guys, enjoy your weekend, and thanks for all the conversation and information.
All right, fellas.
Have a good weekend, guys. Go touch some
guys.
grass.
Right.
See you next time.